Hello and welcome to the next chapter of mathematics. This is chapter 12, reflection. Reflection in x-axis, in y-axis, in the straight line x is equal to a, y is equal to a, and the origin. Also, we are going to learn about invariant points. So, this chapter is essentially the part of coordinate geometry. Coordinate geometry is the topic which you have learnt in class 8th and 9th. So basic knowledge of coordinate geometry is must. It is essential for studying this topic. Okay, let's begin with this. It's a very easy, very small chapter, very simple chapter, but you need to take notes. So keep your pens as well as your notebooks with you. Also for solving questions from this chapter, you need your graph book. For some of the questions, you need to do plotting as well. So keep your graph books also while doing the exercise. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, now coordinate geometry is the branch of geometry in which two numbers called coordinates are used to locate the position of a point in a plane. So the plane which we are concerned with is known as Cartesian plane. Okay, so this is the Cartesian plane. I'm sure that you are aware with this term, Cartesian plane. So this Cartesian plane is divided into four parts which are known as quadrants, and they are numbered like how I've shown here. There are four quadrants. Quadrant. Okay, a quadrant is 1/4 part of the Cartesian plane. So the Cartesian plane is divided into four quadrants by two lines, two mutually perpendicular lines, which are just like your number lines. Okay, so we have a horizontal number line x dash, which is also known as x-axis, and we have a vertical number line y dash, which is also known as y-axis. And these two number lines are mutually perpendicular to each other. And these two number lines, they intersect each other at point O, which is also known as origin. Origin is that point at which the zero of the number line is located, zero of individual number line. So if you go to the right of origin, you get all the positive numbers. If you go to the left of origin, you get all negative numbers. If you go above origin, you get all positive numbers. And if you go below origin, you get all negative numbers. So I'm sure that you are aware about these facts. These are your basic concepts of coordinate geometry which you have learned in previous classes, class 8th, class 9th. Okay. So there are some other names by which x-axis and y-axis are known. I want you all to remember what are the names or the equations of y-axis and x-axis. X-axis has got the equation y is equal to 0. X-axis other name is y is equal to 0. Why x-axis is named as y is equal to 0? Because all the coordinates, all the points located on the x-axis has their y coordinate 0. For example, let's take an example of this point. So what is the coordinate of this point? This point has the coordinate 3, 0. See, the y coordinate is 0. What about this point? This point is known as -5, 0. Again, the y coordinate 0. So since all the points which are located on x-axis has their y coordinate 0, hence the name of x-axis is also y is equal to 0. Similarly, the name of y-axis is x is equal to 0, because any point which is located on the y-axis has its x coordinate 0. For example, this point, the coordinate of this point is 0, 2. So x coordinate is 0, y coordinate is 2. This point is 0, -3. Again, you see that the points which are located on the y-axis has their x coordinate as 0. Hence, the other name for y-axis is x is equal to 0. All right. Great. So this is very, very basic. We know all these informations. Okay, now there are 2 points. Sorry, there are two pairs of numbers which express the location of a point. And these pairs of numbers, these two numbers by which location of a point can be determined is known as a coordinate. So there are two coordinates associated with a point. Suppose we have point P. So point P will be located with the help of two numbers which are two coordinates, x and y coordinate. Okay. Point A will be located with the help of two numbers, x and y coordinate. So what is the x coordinate and what is the y coordinate? Let's have a quick recap on this. X coordinate of a uh, x coordinate of a point is the location of that point from the distance of that point from y axis. How far is this point from y axis? This distance is the x coordinate. This is 3 units away from x axis but to the left of origin. That's why the x coordinate is -3, and the distance of a point from x axis is its y coordinate. So how far this point A from x axis? It is 4 units away above origin. That's why the y coordinate is 4. Okay, so you can also join this point with the x and y axis with perpendicular lines, and like I'll show you over here. So you draw a horizontal line, you draw a vertical line. Wherever this vertical line from the point intersects, perpendicular line intersects or touches x axis is the x coordinate. It touches at point -3. So x coordinate is -3. And wherever this perpendicular line drawn from the point touches the y axis is the y coordinate. So y coordinate is 4. So the coordinates of point A are -3, 4. Now here the most important part is the order. अगर किसी भी पॉइंट के कोऑर्डिनेट्स -3, 4 है, यू कैनॉट राइट इट एज 4, -3. मतलब तुम उसका ऑर्डर चेंज नहीं कर सकते. ऑर्डर चेंज करोगे तो वो कोऑर्डिनेट का लोकेशन चेंज हो जाएगा. ओके, सो दीज आर द कोऑर्डिनेट्स. अच्छा, कोऑर्डिनेट्स का दूसरा नाम पता है? कोऑर्डिनेट्स का दूसरा नाम क्या है? एक्स कोऑर्डिनेट का दूसरा नाम है, एक्स कोऑर्डिनेट का दूसरा नाम है एब्सिसा, और वाई कोऑर्डिनेट का दूसरा नाम है ऑर्डिनेट. ऑर्डिनेट, ठीक है. सो every point on the Cartesian plane can be located with the help of two numbers which are the mutual perpendicular distances from y and x axis, which are also known as x coordinate and y coordinate of that point, also known by the name abscissa and ordinate. ठीक है, इतना क्लियर हो गया. ये तो सिर्फ रिवीजन करवाया मैंने, सिर्फ रिवीजन. ठीक है, अब हम इस मुद्दे की बात पे आते हैं, बिकॉज ये चैप्टर का नाम है रिफ्लेक्शन. सो लेट्स टॉक अबाउट रिफ्लेक्शन ऑल्सो. सो व्हेन एन ऑब्जेक्ट इज प्लेस्ड बिफोर अ प्लेन मिरर, image formed is at the same distance behind the mirror as the object is in front of it. मतलब अगर किसी भी ऑब्जेक्ट को मिरर के सामने रखेंगे, ये सपोज तुम्हारा ऑब्जेक्ट है पी, और ये जो लाइन दिख रही है तुम्हें ए बी, ये हमारी मिरर लाइन है. क्या है? मिरर लाइन. ये मिरर है सपोज, और ये तुम्हारा ऑब्जेक्ट है. तो जब भी ऑब्जेक्ट को इन फ्रंट ऑफ ए प्लेन मिरर हम लोग रखेंगे, तब हमको रिफ्लेक्शन मिलेगा, उसकी इमेज मिलेगी. प्लेन मिरर में ही तो रिफ्लेक्शन का फिनोमेना होता है. द इमेज फॉर्म्ड इज एट द सेम डिस्टेंस बिहाइंड द मिरर. इमेज मिरर के पीछे उतने ही डिस्टेंस पे होता है एज द ऑब्जेक्ट इज इन फ्रंट ऑफ इट. जितना ऑब्जेक्ट उसके फ्रंट, मतलब उसके मिरर के आगे रखा गया है. तो मतलब सपोज ये पॉइंट है ओ, तो पी ओ का डिस्टेंस ओ पी डैश से इक्वल होगा. पी ओ इज द ऑब्जेक्ट डिस्टेंस एंड ओ पी डैश इज द इमेज डिस्टेंस. ऑब्जेक्ट डिस्टेंस और इमेज डिस्टेंस हमेशा सेम होना चाहिए. अच्छा, ये पी डैश क्या है? पी डैश इज द इमेज ऑफ ऑब्जेक्ट पी. अच्छा, उसके कोऑर्डिनेट्स क्या है? एक्स डैश वाई डैश. तो यही एक्स डैश वाई डैश हमको ढूंढने हैं अलग अलग सिचुएशन में. rather using direct formulae और यूजिंग प्लॉटिंग मेथड। ठीक है, अगर डायरेक्ट फॉर्मूले अगर तुम्हारे पास है तो तुम्हें प्लॉट करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है। सो वी आर गोइंग टू लर्न सम शॉर्टकट methods or formulae with which you can directly find the coordinates of a point which is reflected in a certain situation। ठीक है, तो उसके कोऑर्डिनेट्स, रिफ्लेक्टेड पॉइंट के कोऑर्डिनेट्स हमें डायरेक्टली मिल जाएंगे, हमें प्लॉटिंग करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, ग्राफ पेपर पे जो प्लॉटिंग करते हैं वो। सो बेसिकली हम तीन टाइप के रिफ्लेक्शन पढ़ने वाले हैं। ठीक है, मतलब जो मिरर लाइन मैंने बताई तुम्हें, वो तीन टाइप की मिरर लाइन हम पढ़ने वाले हैं। एक है एम एक्स, मतलब रिफ्लेक्शन इन एक्स एक्सिस, मतलब मिरर लाइन, मिरर कहाँ पे है, एक्स एक्सिस के ऊपर। तो मतलब किसी भी पॉइंट का रिफ्लेक्शन जब एक्स एक्सिस में होता है, किसी भी पॉइंट का रिफ्लेक्शन जब एक्स एक्सिस में होता है, तो मिरर को हम एक्स एक्सिस पे इमेजिन करते हैं। मिरर को हम कहाँ पे इमेजिन करते हैं, एक्स एक्सिस के ऊपर इमेजिन करते हैं। एंड वी रिप्रेजेंट दिस सिचुएशन बाय एम, और फिर सबस्क्रिप्ट में एक्स लिखते हैं, एम एक्स, मैं इसको एम एक्स ही बोलूंगा। ठीक है, डोंट गेट कंफ्यूज, बट इसको लिखते ऐसे है, पहले एम लिखना है और सबस्क्रिप्ट में एक्स लिखना है, ऐसे, मतलब रिफ्लेक्शन इन एक्स एक्सिस। तो जब मैंने एम एक्स लिखा तो तुम उसको क्या रीड करोगे, रिफ्लेक्शन इन एक्स एक्सिस। मिरर कहाँ पे होगा, एक्स एक्सिस के ऊपर। एम वाई का मतलब क्या होगा, रिफ्लेक्शन इन वाई एक्सिस। एम ओ का मतलब क्या होगा, रिफ्लेक्शन इन ओरिजिन। यस यू आर राइट, ओरिजिन में भी रिफ्लेक्शन होता है, तो मिरर को हम लोग ओरिजिन पे भी मान सकते हैं। अब इसको बहुत विजुअलाइज करना डिफिकल्ट है। ये समझ में आता है कि एक्स एक्सिस पे मिरर रख सकते हैं, वाई एक्सिस पे मिरर रख सकते हैं, लेकिन ओरिजिन तो एक पॉइंट है, पॉइंट पे मिरर कैसे रख सकते हैं, बिकॉज मिरर की तो लेंथ ब्रेथ कुछ होती होगी ना। बट यहाँ पे हम लोग विजुअलाइजेशन से नहीं समझ सकते कि ओरिजिन पे मिरर कैसे रहे। सो हाउ विल अंडरस्टैंड कि ओरिजिन पे रिफ्लेक्शन कैसे होगा, इज विद द हेल्प ऑफ डायरेक्ट फॉर्मूला। ठीक है, तो सबसे पहले लेट्स स्टडी द डायरेक्ट फॉर्मूला फॉर रिफ्लेक्शन इन वाई एक्सिस, सॉरी एक्स एक्सिस। रिफ्लेक्शन इन एक्स एक्सिस, इसका मतलब क्या है, इसका सिंबल क्या बताया था मैंने, एम एक्स। ठीक है, अच्छा, ये भी बात याद रखो कि रिफ्लेक्शन इन एक्स एक्सिस को रिफ्लेक्शन इन वाई इज इक्वल टू जीरो भी बोलता है। क्यों वाई इज इक्वल टू जीरो बोलता है, बिकॉज एक्स एक्सिस का जो दूसरा नाम है दैट इज वाई इज इक्वल टू जीरो। ठीक है, सो रिफ्लेक्शन इन द लाइन वाई इज इक्वल टू जीरो, दैट इज एक्स एक्सिस, एक ही बात है। चलो अब देखते हैं हम लोग रिफ्लेक्शन इन वाई इज इक्वल टू जीरो या फिर एक्स एक्सिस कैसे होता है। तो हमें एक बात पता है कि एक पॉइंट है पी एक्स कॉमा वाई, इसको हमने उसका रिफ्लेक्शन हमें निकालना है एक्स एक्सिस में। सो व्हाट वी आर गोइंग टू डू, वी आर गोइंग टू इमेजिन दैट देयर इज अ मिरर प्लेस्ड ऑन दिस एक्स एक्सिस। तो हमें ये बात पता है कि अगर ऑब्जेक्ट मिरर के सामने रखा है तो उसकी इमेज मिरर के पीछे बनती है एट द सेम डिस्टेंस। अब देखो यहाँ पे ये ऑब्जेक्ट के जो कोऑर्डिनेट्स है, ये जो पॉइंट पी है उसके जो कोऑर्डिनेट्स है वो क्या है, वो है एक्स कॉमा वाई। वो क्या है, एक्स कॉमा वाई। इसका मतलब है कि ये जो पॉइंट पी है उसका डिस्टेंस एक्स एक्सिस से, डिस्टेंस फ्रॉम द एक्स एक्सिस इज द वाई कोऑर्डिनेट, ऑलवेज रिमेंबर, ऑलवेज रिमेंबर। ठीक है, तो ये जो डिस्टेंस है, that is distance from the x-axis, that is y coordinate, will remain as it is. But what will happen now, this distance will be taken as the image distance behind the mirror, and since the mirror is placed on x-axis, हम जब behind the mirror देखेंगे so that will go into the fourth quadrant, और fourth quadrant में या फिर third quadrant में y कोऑर्डिनेट क्या होता है, नेगेटिव होता है। एंड सिंस द y कोऑर्डिनेट इज नेगेटिव, देखो डिस्टेंस तो उतना ही रहेगा y, ये डिस्टेंस उतना ही है, लेकिन आगे सिर्फ माइनस साइन लग जाएगी। So what about the x coordinate? See, x coordinate will not change because we are in fourth quadrant. In fourth quadrant, whatever the value of x is, it will remain the same. मतलब x coordinate will not change, y will become opposite in sign. इसको अगर याद करना है तो ऐसे ही याद करो, सबसे बेस्ट है। तो तुम कोई भी सिचुएशन में रिफ्लेक्शन इन एक्स एक्सिस में कंफ्यूज नहीं होगे, प्लस तुम्हारा सिली मिस्टेक नहीं होगा. सो हाउ डू यू हैव टू रिमेंबर? एम एक्स एक्स कॉमा वाई, मतलब किसी भी पॉइंट जिसके कोऑर्डिनेट्स x कॉमा वाई है उसको अगर तुम x एक्सिस में रिफ्लेक्ट करोगे, सो यू आर गोइंग टू गेट x कॉमा माइनस वाई. x कॉमा माइनस वाई, तो हुआ क्या? x x ही रहा, x did not change, x remained as x, but y changed its sign after reflection. So the sign of y will change if the reflection is happening in x axis, but the sign of x will not change and x will remain x. ठीक है? देखो, therefore when a point is reflected in x axis, the sign of its ordinate changes. Ordinate मतलब y coordinate. y कोऑर्डिनेट की साइन क्या हो जाएगी? चेंज हो जाएगी. x कोऑर्डिनेट एज इट इज रहेगा. अब ये फॉर्मूला है तुम्हारा, ठीक है. इसको तुम्हें कैसे लर्न करना है और कैसे अप्लाई करना है इसकी बात कर लेते हैं हम लोग. ठीक है, तुम्हारा फॉर्मूला क्या है? जैसे मैंने तुम्हें बताया, तुम्हारा फॉर्मूला है एम एक्स एक्स कॉमा वाई इज इक्वल टू एक्स कॉमा माइनस वाई. ये तुम्हारा फॉर्मूला है, ठीक है. तो हम लोग क्या करेंगे? वी विल टेक अ पॉइंट, लेट्स से 2,3, और इसको हम लोग क्या करेंगे? एम एक्स मतलब रिफ्लेक्ट करेंगे इस पॉइंट को अंडर एक्स एक्सेस, मतलब इसकी इमेज ढूंढेंगे अंडर एक्स एक्सेस. इसका मतलब है कि वी आर गोइंग टू फाइंड द coordinates of the point of which is the image of this point 2,3. सपोज इसको एक नाम दे देते ए, तो इसकी इमेज को नाम दे देंगे ए डैश. अब मैंने तुम्हें पहले ही बताया प्लॉटिंग की ज़रूरत नहीं है बिकॉज यू हैव डायरेक्ट फार्मूला. सो व्हाट यू विल डू, you will write the x coordinate as it is and you will write a comma and then you will write minus 3, 2 comma minus 3, 2 comma minus 3. That's it. So what if it is b 0 comma 4? What will happen to 0 comma 4 when it is reflected under x axis? Let's check it out. So it will become b dash. As I told, 0 comma 4, 0 comma 4 ये जो पॉइंट है ये y एक्सिस पे लाई करता है, ये मैं इमेजिन कर सकता हूँ. तो इसमें मैं सिर्फ देखो इमेज का जो पोजीशन है उसको भी मैं इमेजिन कर सकता हूँ, बट इफ यू कैन नॉट, डोंट वरी, देयर इज नो प्रॉब्लम. सो b dash, the image of point b, x coordinate will remain as it is, that is 0, but y coordinate, which is 4, will become minus 4. Okay, so directly applying the formula saves the hassle of visualization of where the point is and where its reflection will be and what will be the coordinates of the reflection. But if you can imagine and if you can figure out the answer, nothing like that. Okay, but without imagination also, by direct using formula, you can get through many answers. Okay, let's take one more example, maybe point C, which is let's say minus 5 comma 0. We will reflect this point in x axis and will find its reflection C dash. Now this point minus 5 comma 0 is on the x axis. Why? Because its y coordinate is 0. Any point whose y coordinate is 0 lies on the x axis. So the coordinates of point C, which is minus 5 comma 0, will become see, x coordinate will be x coordinate and y coordinate changes its sign. So 0 becomes minus 0. But wait a minute, minus 0, that doesn't make any sense. So 0, if the y coordinate is 0, it remains 0. So what do you mean by that? It means that any point which is on x axis, its reflection under x axis or its reflection in x axis will remain the same point. मिरर के ऊपर अगर कोई पॉइंट ले लो तो उसका रिफ्लेक्शन उसी पॉइंट पे आएगा. ठीक है, क्योंकि इस पॉइंट का जो डिस्टेंस है मिरर से वो 0 यूनिट्स है, ये पॉइंट तो मिरर के ऊपर ही है, तो इसका रिफ्लेक्शन भी उधर ही होगा। ठीक है, ओके, सो दैट्स रिफ्लेक्शन under x-axis. Let's go to the next topic, that is reflection in the y-axis. What is the other name of y-axis? Y-axis is also known as x is equal to 0. Okay, so symbolically, any point which is reflected in y-axis, its x coordinate changes the sign but y coordinate remains as it is. When a point is reflected in y-axis, the sign of its abscissa or x coordinate changes. Okay, let's take some examples like what they have shown over here. 2 comma 3 when reflected in y-axis becomes minus 2 comma 3. 3 remained as it is. 2 became minus 2. 2 comma minus 3 when gets reflected in y-axis becomes minus 2 comma minus 3. Same thing. Okay, and so on so forth. You can create thousands of examples as per your understanding. Okay, so that's reflection in x-axis, y-axis. Next is reflection in the origin. Reflection in the origin. When any point P is reflected in origin, when any point P is reflected in origin, the signs of its abscissa and ordinate both changes. So MO x comma y becomes minus x comma minus y. So any point, let's say the point is 2 comma 3, that is reflected in origin, becomes minus 2 comma minus 3. If the point is 2 comma minus 3, it becomes minus 2 comma 3. Signs of both x and y coordinate, that is abscissa and ordinate, changes when a point is reflected in origin. So that is the formula which you must remember. So uh, if you want me to just summarize the formula for you, I can only tell you that just remember that a point A x comma y when reflected in x-axis becomes A dash x comma minus y. A point B x comma y reflected in y-axis becomes B dash minus x comma y. And point C x comma y when reflected in origin becomes C dash, which is minus x comma minus y. So this is, you can say, the whole concept of reflection up to now. There are other uh, aspects also to this which we are going to study ahead, but up to now we have understood this much about reflection. Okay, now let's apply this much information in some of the numericals which we are going to see now. So we have 1 2 3. Okay, so third question has some information, then invariant points. Okay, just 3 questions. Let's 3 questions in the first part. Of course there are more questions. The triangle ABC, the coordinates are given to you. The coordinates of triangle A, B and C are 1 comma 2, I can't see that. That's crazy. Okay, 1 comma 2, 4 comma 4 and 3 comma 7 is first reflected in the line y is equal to 0. What is y is equal to 0? Y is equal to 0 is x-axis onto triangle A dash B dash C dash, and then triangle A dash B dash C dash is reflected in the origin onto A double dash B double dash C double dash. Write down the coordinates of A dash B dash C dash and A double dash B double dash C double dash. Very easy. Okay. Now we know that point A, which is 1 comma 2 vertex of a triangle, is first reflected in x-axis. So mx, it becomes A dash, and its coordinate, as we know that x coordinate does not change, y coordinate becomes -2, means it changes its sign. B, which is 4 comma 4, when reflected in x-axis becomes B dash, which is 4 comma -4. C, which is 3 comma 7, when reflected in x-axis, when reflected in x-axis becomes C dash, which is 3 comma -7. Now these points A dash, B dash and C dash are further reflected in the origin, remember. So I'll show you. A dash, which is 1 comma -2, is reflected in origin MO. It becomes A double dash, and whenever a point is reflected in origin, its x and y coordinate both changes. So it becomes -1 comma 2. B dash, which is 4 comma -4, when reflected in origin becomes B double dash, which is -4 comma 4. C dash, which is 3 comma -7, when reflected in origin MO, it becomes C double dash, which is -3 comma 7. So these are your required answers, the coordinates of A dash, B dash, C dash, the coordinates of A double dash, B double dash, C double dash. Okay, very easy. So this is how you write it. Nothing else, very easy, very simple. Okay, 1 minus 2, 4 minus 4, 3 minus 7 and -1. Okay, there is a mistake here. This will not be minus. Okay, so this will be plus only. -1, 2, -4, 4 and -3 comma 7. Okay, next question. A point P is reflected in the x-axis. Coordinates of its image are 8 comma -6. Find the coordinates of point P. Okay, let's first do the first question. Let the coordinates of point P be x comma y. The coordinates of point P are x comma y. Okay, now this point P, x comma y, when it is reflected in x-axis, it becomes P dash, the image, and it will become x comma -y. And we already know the coordinates of its image. Also, coordinates of P dash are 8 comma -6. See, it is given over here. Okay, so we know the coordinates of point P dash in terms of x and y and the numbers. So x is equal to 8 and -y is equal to -6. So x is equal to 8 and y is equal to 6. So what are the coordinates of point P? Therefore, coordinates of point P are x comma y, which is 8 comma 6. Right? So this is how you write it. Next, find the coordinates of the image of point P under the reflection in y-axis. So point P, now we know that it is 8 comma 6. We want to reflect it under y-axis, my. So it will become P double dash. Okay, P dash is the image of point P in x-axis. P double dash is the image of point P in y-axis. It will become -8 comma 6. minus 8,6 is the image of P under the reflection in y-axis. Let's check the answer. Point P is 8,6, correct, and P double dash is minus 8,6. Perfect. Very easy. Okay, let's go to the next question. Perform the operations mx, my and my, mx on the point 3, minus 4. State whether mx, my and my, mx are equal or not. State whether mx, my and my, mx are equal, and if yes, state whether it is always true. Okay. So what is mx, my? Mx dot my means reflection under x-axis first and then the reflection of the image obtained under x-axis in y-axis. So first we have to reflect a point in x-axis, then in y-axis. Okay, let's figure out कि कैसे ये mx dot my perform करेंगे on the point 3, minus 4. So the point 3, minus 4 is first reflected under x-axis, becomes 3, 4, then it is reflected under y-axis. This is mx dot my. पहले x-axis में reflect करेंगे, फिर y-axis में. अच्छा, after getting reflected in y-axis, it becomes minus 3, 4. So ultimately if you see, ये तुम्हारा ओरिजिनल पॉइंट था और ये तुम्हारा फाइनल पॉइंट है. ठीक है. सो हम लोग इसको ऐसे लिख सकते हैं कि mx डॉट my में अगर मैंने किसी भी पॉइंट को रिफ्लेक्ट किया जो पहले थ्री कॉमा माइनस 4 था, तो वो बन जाएगा minus 3, 4. ठीक है. ओके. अच्छा, व्हाट अबाउट my डॉट mx? चलो देखते हैं. सो 3, minus 4, पहले इसको y एक्सिस में रिफ्लेक्ट करते हैं, तो इट विल बिकम minus 3, minus 4. ठीक है. अब इसको x एक्सिस में रिफ्लेक्ट करते हैं mx, तो इट विल बिकम minus 3, 4. सो इसका मतलब है कि 3, minus 4 पे अगर हमने my डॉट mx ऑपरेशन किया, सो इट बिकम्स minus 3, 4. एंड द रिजल्ट इज सरप्राइजिंग, बिकॉज अगर तुम mx डॉट my करो तो भी तुम्हें सेम आंसर आता है, my डॉट mx करो तो भी तुम्हें सेम आंसर आता है. The final result is the same. And if you look closely, the final result, that is mx dot my, let me show you. Let me write properly and show you. Mx dot my is equal to my dot mx is equal to mo. What is mo? Mo is reflection under origin. Why you think it's reflection under origin? Because you see, the sign of x coordinate has changed, the sign of y coordinate has also changed. The same thing has happened in both the cases. So mx dot my and my dot mx will always be equal, and which will be equal to mo, that is reflection under origin. Okay, so that is the case. So that was your first part of the chapter. Very easy, right? Small thing, one small thing which is there, I want you to note this small thing. We can take this ahead, and we can say that mx dot my is equal to my dot mx is equal to mo, which we have already studied. Mo dot mx and mx dot mo is my. mo dot my and my dot mo are equal, which are equal to mx, and so on. So the combinations of reflections is always commutative. Commutative means you can do two operations of different reflections in any order, but still you get the same answer. Okay, so that is one very important thing. You will come across it in in your exercise there are some questions you will come across, and I expect that you will solve them properly. Okay, what is invariant point? Invariant point, any point that remains unaltered under a given transformation is called invariant point. तो हमने देखा था कि कोई भी पॉइंट अगर एक्स एक्सिस पे है और उसी पॉइंट को हम एक्स एक्सिस में ही रिफ्लेक्ट करते हैं, तो मिरर पे अगर कोई पॉइंट है उसका रिफ्लेक्शन तो मिरर पे ही आएगा, राइट? सो 5,0 का रिफ्लेक्शन अगर एक्स एक्सिस में करेंगे तो इट विल रिमेन 5,0. ठीक है, कोई पॉइंट अगर वाई एक्सिस पे है तो उसका रिफ्लेक्शन अगर हम वाई एक्सिस में करेंगे वो सेम ही रहेगा. अगर कोई पॉइंट ओरिजिन है, वो ओरिजिन विल बी इनवेरिएंट अंडर द रिफ्लेक्शन इन एक्स एक्सिस, वाई एक्सिस एंड ओरिजिन ऑल टुगेदर. ठीक है, so remember that in case of invariant point, the point is its own image. Point उसकी खुद की image होती है. That is, reflection of the point is the point itself. Such transformation is called invariant transformation. Similarly, reflection of any point is invariant under reflection in a line if the point lies in the same line. ठीक है, so अब थोड़ा सा हम लोग ट्वीक करेंगे चीजों को. हमने रिफ्लेक्शन इन एक्स एक्सिस, वाई एक्सिस, ओरिजिन, इनवेरिएंट पॉइंट्स तो पढ़ लिया. दो चीज हमने अभी भी नहीं पढ़ी है, दैट इज एक्स इज इक्वल टू ए एंड वाई इज इक्वल टू ए. सो व्हाट इज एक्स इज इक्वल टू ए एंड वाई इज इक्वल टू ए? लेट्स सी. ओके, सो सेकेंड पार्ट में डायरेक्टली वो लोग ने एक्सरसाइज स्टार्ट की है. सो बिफोर आई गो अहेड एंड टीच यू द सेकेंड पार्ट, let me give you some information that is more required. Okay, so सबसे पहले I want to give you this little bit of revision from previous year. So this is your Cartesian plane. ठीक है, on this Cartesian plane I will teach you to draw a few lines whose equations are x is equal to 4, comma, I will change the color, y is equal to 3. ठीक है, और दो ले लेते हैं ऐसे. x is equal to -5 and I'm taking different colors for a reason. Okay, and y is equal to -6. ठीक है, मैंने 4 इक्वेशन लिखे हैं. Now these equations are of the form x is equal to a and y is equal to a. ठीक है, अब इसका क्या मीनिंग है और कैसे इसको प्लॉट करेंगे ये हमने सीखा है, क्लास 9th में सबने सीखा है, पर आई एम श्योर कि कुछ लोग भूल गए हैं. कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, फिर से सीख लेते हैं. So I told you that we are going to study the reflection in lines x is equal to a and y is equal to a as well. So first, to start with, let's start with the line x is equal to 0. What is x is equal to 0? X is equal to 0 is y-axis. So any line which is parallel to y-axis will have its equation in the form x is equal to a. Now out of these 4 equations which you see, which equations are in the form x is equal to a? Which equations are similar to the equation x is equal to 0? One of the equation is x is equal to 4 and the other equation is x is equal to -5. So these two lines, these two equations, linear equation in one variable they look like, right? They are straight lines representing a line which is parallel to y-axis. But then where are they situated? they are located at a distance of the number which is shown over here. So this first equation, if we talk about, this line is parallel to y-axis, that means it's a vertical line and it is located at a distance of 4 units on the right side of y-axis, because we have plus 4 over here. Just 4, that means plus 4, right? So how will we draw this? So suppose this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this line, let me just draw it first over here. Okay, so this line will be here. Just a moment, let me just adjust it. Okay, so you get it, right? It's passing through 4. I'm just trying like so hard. Anyway, so this line, which is, oops, which is parallel to y-axis and passing through point 4, its equation will be x is equal to 4. What about x is equal to minus 5? X is equal to minus 5 will pass through minus 5, but again it will be parallel to uh, y-axis. Okay, now x is equal to minus 5. Let me draw that. Right, so this is vertical line which is parallel to y-axis and its equation is x is equal to minus 5. Why? Because it is passing through minus 5 on x-axis, or it is at a distance of 5 units on the left side of origin. Okay, but parallel to y-axis. That's why its equation is x is equal to minus 5. Okay, what about y is equal to 3? Y is equal to 3. I will show you. So see, the equation of x-axis is y is equal to 0. And this is 1, 2, 3. So y is equal to 3 will be a horizontal line parallel to x-axis, because its equation resembles the equation of x-axis, which is y is equal to 0. So it will be a horizontal line parallel to x-axis but passing through point 3, passing through point 3 above origin, above x-axis. Okay, so this is y is equal to 3, and the last is y is equal to minus 6. Y is equal to minus 6. Let's see that. So we have minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, and minus 6. Okay, so we have we have a straight line passing through -5. Okay, this looks difficult to pass through -5. Okay, let me just take care of this. So this is a horizontal line, y is equal to -5. Okay, so these are certain lines through which we have to understand reflection as well. Okay, so this was just a little bit of recap from class 9th. Now see, the questions in the second part of the chapter are not very different from the first part. They are, you can say, the continuation of first part. The questions in the second part are the continuation of the part 1. Okay, so there is nothing new you have to learn, but let's see what kind of questions we come across. Points -5, 0 and 4, 0 are invariant point under reflection in the line L1. So if -5, 0 and 4, 0 are invariant points, first we have to find on which axis they lie. So their y coordinate is 0. So they lie on x axis because their y coordinate is 0. So they are invariant under reflection in line L1. Now we know that if points lie on a certain axis, if they are reflected on the same axis, they will become invariant. So their image and um, their image will coincide with that original point. Therefore, we can say that L1 is x-axis. Points 0, -6 and 0, 5 are invariant on reflection in line L2. Okay, 0, -6 and 0, 5 lie on y-axis. Therefore, L2 is y-axis. Only the points lying on y-axis will remain invariant on reflection in line in y-axis. Name or write the equations for lines L1 and L2. What is the equation of x-axis? Y is equal to 0. What is the equation of y-axis? X is equal to 0. That's it. Write down the images of P2, 6 and Q -8, -3 on reflection in L1 and name the images P dash and Q dash respectively. Okay, so P, which is 2, 6 on reflection in line L1. So we can take it as mx because L1 is x-axis. It will become P dash 2, -6. P dash 2, -6 because in reflection in x-axis x does not change, y changes. And Q, which is -8, -3 on reflection in y-axis, my becomes q dash which is -8, 3, q dash which is -8, 3. Write down the images of P and Q on reflection in L2 as well and name the images as P double dash and Q double dash. So P, which is 2, 6 on reflection in, एक minute, there was one mistake. This is mx. Okay, now I'll find my, P double dash -2, 6 and Q -8, -3 on reflection in y-axis my as Q double dash which is 8 comma minus 3. State or describe a single transformation that maps q dash onto q double dash. Okay, so q dash is minus 8 comma 3 and q double dash is 8 comma minus 3. So how can we convert minus 8 comma 3 into 8 comma minus 3? What kind of reflection it has to go through? Now as we can see, both the signs of x and y coordinate are reversed. That means this reflection must be through origin. So single transformation that maps q dash to q double dash is the reflection through origin. Okay, so that should be your final answer. Easy question. Let's go to the next question. Fifth question. It's a small chapter, it will be over very soon. Find the reflection of the point P uh, minus 1 comma 3 in the line x is equal to 2. Okay, so P minus 1 comma 3, that is our point. We have to find its reflection in the line x is equal to 2. Okay, for that we need to plot the graph and find the reflection of this point. Without plotting, we cannot do questions like this. Okay, so let me show you what they have done, how they have done in textbook, because they have plotted it so that we can directly have a look. Yes. Okay, so as you can see, x is equal to 2 is a straight line or a vertical line which is parallel to y-axis. Our point P is minus 1 comma 3. When it is reflected in y-axis, where will it go? Now see, you will find the image of point P in the same straight line. Okay, but always remember that AB, x is equal to 2, is your mirror line. So your image will be at the same distance as that of the object in front of it. So object is point P. Now point P is 3 units away from the mirror line, that is AB. So here also point P dash will be 3 units away. So 3 units is at 5. Yeah, but y coordinate will not change. Why? Because the points, the reflection will be formed in the same straight line. Right? So y coordinate will remain 3, but the x coordinate minus 1 will get converted into 5. Okay, because you are finding the reflection in line AB. Okay, so drawing it is very easy, plotting it is very easy. You have to do this question by plotting. Okay, let me get a graph paper for you and show you the next question. Okay, so this is your graph paper, Cartesian plane. So we have to find the reflection. I'm doing the second one because the first one I've already showed you. So I'm doing the second one. They are both exactly same to each other, but only thing is that the line is different. Here the line is y plus 3 is equal to 0. That is y is equal to minus 3. And I told you, where does y is equal to minus 3 lie? See, this is y is equal to 0. This is x is equal to 0. So y is equal to minus 3 will be parallel to x-axis at a distance of 3 units below the origin. Okay, that is y is equal to minus 3's exact location. Okay, so now let me, yes, I just have to extend it to the other side. Okay, so this is my line. Y is equal to minus 3, which is parallel to x-axis and at a distance of 3 units below the origin passing through -3 on y-axis. So I have to find the reflection of point Q 2 comma 1. 2 comma 1. So 2 comma 1 is over here. This is the point Q 2 comma 1, and I have to find its reflection along I have to find its reflection in y is equal to -3. Okay, so now let's make one thing very clear, that the reflected point will be in the same straight line as that of the original point. Now, what is the distance of this original point from the line y is equal to -3, which is your mirror line? So you can see one box over here. This is one box, two box, three box, and four box. That is, it is 4 units away from. It is 4 units away from your mirror line. Y is equal to -3. So your image will always be 4 units away. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so this will be Q dash, which is the image. Let me write it with a blue pen, blue ink. Q dash, which is the image of point Q, and its coordinates are 2 comma -7. 2 comma -7. Okay, so x coordinate remained as it is, only the y coordinate changed due to the reflection. Okay, so that's how you find reflection on graph. Easy. So any other line apart from your x-axis or y-axis can also serve as a mirror line to find the reflection. Next question. Okay, I have to zoom out a bit. The points P 5, 1 and Q -2, 2 are reflected in the line x is equal to 2. Use the graph paper to find the images P dash and Q dash of P and Q respectively in the line x is equal to 2. Take 2 centimeter equal to 2 units on your graph paper. So same thing, you have to get this kind of uh, Cartesian plane, and you have to change the scale. So what they are saying as 2 centimeter equal to 2 units. Here we have taken 1 centimeter is equal to 1 units, which is 2 centimeter is equal to 2 units. Okay, so then you don't have to make any change in the scale. As per the question is the same thing, just given to confuse you. And then you have to plot the points and find the reflection in x is equal to 2, which is a vertical line. I'm sure you can do it. So you can try this question right now. Pause the video and try this question. Then I will show you the solution of it. Please try it now in your graph book. Okay, so this is the solution. Now, as I was talking about, the line x is equal to 2 is a vertical line parallel to y-axis at a distance of 2 units from it. That is the mirror line. Point P is over here, 5, 1. Point Q is over here, -2, 2. We have to find its reflection. So the reflection of point P comes over here, P dash, which is -1, 1. Please check your method, your answer, your location of the point. And point Q dash is over here, the reflection of Q in x is equal to 2, which is 6, -2. Can you see that? Yes. Great. Okay. All right. So we are on the next question. See, this question has also been done on the graph, and even the next question, I think there are two more questions which both are done on the graph. So we'll just have a look at them here only. I'm not going to plot it for you. I'm just going to explain you what is the question, how they have done it, and how to do it on the graph. So use a graph paper for this question. So this will be told to you to use a graph paper. In some cases, they will not tell you, but in the cases where you cannot use direct formula, you must use graph paper. Okay, here they have taken 2 divisions is equal to 1 unit on both the axes. What do you mean by 2 divisions is equal to 1 units? So on your graph paper, let me show you my graph paper. Yeah. On your graph paper, when your scale is changed, let me just erase this because I need to change my scale and take 2 units as 2 centimeter as 1 units, I think. So the lines will remain as it is. Okay. The question says that, yeah, we can find the question here also. The question says that take 2 divisions is equal to 1 unit. Now on the graph paper, where are your 2 divisions? Let me show you on x-axis only. First division is over here and the second division is over here. So after 2 divisions, you have to take 1 unit. Then here 2, then here 3, then here 4. Like that over here, -1, -2, -3, -4. Over here, this is 0, -1, -2, -3, -4. Here 1, 2, 3 and 4. Please forget about these two. Okay, so this should be your scale. This is the scale they want you to take. All right, so let's read the question and try to understand what they want. Okay, so now you know what will be your scale. 2 divisions is equal to 1 unit. That means 2 centimeter is equal to 1 unit. Then you have to plot these points P and Q. Plotting is not a big deal. You can plot easily. From point P and Q, draw perpendiculars PM and QN on x-axis. That is also okay. We can draw perpendiculars from these 2 points. Write the coordinates of point M and N. See, they have plotted point P and Q over here. As you can see, from P and Q, they have drawn perpendicular M and N, PM and QN on the x-axis. The coordinates of point M and N are 3, 0 and -3, 0. Okay, so this is also done. Name the image of P on reflection in the origin. Okay, so P when reflected in origin becomes -3, -2. Both the signs will change. So the image of P reflected in origin is Q. Okay, then assign special name to geometrical figure PMQN. PMQN. Now it looks like a parallelogram to me. It doesn't look like a rhombus because in rhombus all the sides are equal. Neither does it look like a square or a rectangle because uh, all angles are not 90-degree and all sides are not equal. Okay, so it's a parallelogram. And find its area. Okay, so area is basically length into breadth, or height, altitude multiplied by the height. Altitude on one of the side multiplied by the height. Now see, I can easily say that this is 90-degree. So this Mn is an altitude. Mn is one of the altitude, and if you see, Pm is one of the side. So what is the length of Mn? Mn is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units long. 6 multiplied by the base, that is 2 units. So that is 12 square units. 12 square units. Okay, that is the area of the parallelogram PMQN. Write the coordinates of the point to which M is mapped on reflection in x-axis, y-axis and origin. M. Acha. M is reflected as N in origin. M is reflected as N in y-axis. M का रिफ्लेक्शन N है ओरिजिन में और y एक्सिस दोनों में. ठीक है, y एक्सिस में रिफ्लेक्ट करेंगे तो उसका x कोऑर्डिनेट की साइन चेंज हो जाएगी. ओरिजिन में रिफ्लेक्ट करेंगे तो दोनों कोऑर्डिनेट की साइन चेंज हो जाएगी, तो जीरो ही रहेगा. बट एक्स एक्सिस में जब m को रिफ्लेक्ट करेंगे तो इट विल रिमेन इन 3,0 ओनली इनवेरिएंट. Okay, so that was how you solve this question. Very easy actually. चलो last question of the chapter. ये क्वेश्चन जितनी भी बार मैंने क्लासरूम में करवाया है, स्टूडेंट्स हैव मेड सम मिस्टेक इन प्लॉटिंग. ये ऐसा क्वेश्चन है, तो इसको ना थोड़ा अच्छे से तुम लोग सॉल्व करना. यूज द ग्राफ पेपर फॉर दिस क्वेश्चन. द पॉइंट्स ए बी एंड सी आर द वर्टाइसेस ऑफ ट्राइंगल ए बी सी. तो पहले तो ए बी सी को प्लॉट कर लो. ठीक है, अब ए डैश बी डैश सी डैश के वर्टाइसेस तुम्हें लिखने हैं, कोऑर्डिनेट्स लिखने हैं. आफ्टर रिफ्लेक्टिंग इट इन ओरिजिन, तो ओरिजिन में जब रिफ्लेक्ट करेंगे तो सारे जो एक्स और वाई कोऑर्डिनेट्स हैं उनकी साइन रिवर्स हो जाएगी. सो यू गेट -2, -3, -4, -5 एंड -7, -2. इसको प्लॉट कर दो. अच्छे से प्लॉट करना, गलती नहीं होनी चाहिए. अच्छा, अब ए डैश बी डैश सी डैश इमेज है ए बी सी की, बट व्हेन इट इज रिफ्लेक्टेड इन एक्स एक्सिस. ठीक है, तो देखो यहाँ पे कैसे इसको किया है. सबसे पहले तुम्हारा जो ओरिजिनल ट्राइंगल है दैट इज ए बी सी, इसको पहले रिफ्लेक्ट किया है ओरिजिन में ए डैश बी डैश सी डैश. कैन यू सी दैट A becomes A dash, B becomes B dash, C becomes C dash. Join कर दिया, तो this is how the triangle will look like when reflected in origin. अब ये जो A B C है उसको A डबल डैश B डबल डैश C डबल डैश रिफ्लेक्ट किया है X एक्सिस में. So you get A डबल डैश B डबल डैश C डबल डैश. अब वो लोग क्या बोल रहे हैं, mention a special name of the quadrilateral BCC double dash B double dash. Where is B C C double dash B double dash? I will show you with red ink. B C C double dash B double dash. You see this quadrilateral? So this looks like what? This looks like a trapezium. Looks like a trapezium. ठीक है? And find its area. Area of trapezium क्या है? Area of trapezium is half multiplied by sum of its parallel sides, that is सी सी डैश प्लस बी बी डैश. सी सी डैश कितना है 2 यूनिट्स, प्लस बी बी डैश कितना है 1 2 3. सी दिस इज हाफ अ यूनिट. ओके, मैं जस्ट यहाँ पे इसको इरेज कर देता हूँ सो दैट यू कैन सी इट क्लियरली. ओके, सो दिस इज हाफ अ यूनिट, दिस इज ऑल्सो हाफ अ यूनिट, this is 1 2 3 4 unit. So 4 plus 1 is 5 unit. Half into sum of parallel sides multiplied by the distance between them. ठीक है, so distance between them कितना है. अब तुम अगर देखोगे ये डिस्टेंस की बात हम कर रहे हैं, ये 1 यूनिट हो गया और ये हाफ, तो कितना यूनिट डिस्टेंस कितना है 3/2. हाफ into sum of parallel sides multiplied by the distance between them. So half multiplied by 7 multiplied by 3/2. So 21/4 or 5.25. 21/4 is 5.25. 5.25 square units. I think that is the area. Why didn't they multiply it by how they are getting 21? Half into sum of parallel sides multiplied by the distance between them. Okay, so distance between them is 3 units. Oh, okay. So I made a mistake in the units. Let me show you. So this is my mistake. This is where I made the mistake. Let me just correct everything. Okay, so let me show what was my mistake. So while calculating the sum of the parallel sides, I did not see that there is 2 over here and there is -2. What is the distance between 2 and -2? 4. And what is the distance between 5 and -5? 10 multiplied by what is the distance between 4 and 7? 3. So this will be 14 plus 14 multiplied by 3 divided by 2. So that is 21 square units. So I made a mistake in taking the measurements. Okay, so that was the chapter, very small, very cute chapter. It's over. So I hope you are ready to do the exercises now.